I am going to talk about a brief overview on fractional order systems. Actually, if you see the literature, nowadays what happens that whatever result that is existing for integer order systems, people are blindly try to extend same kind of result for fractional order systems. And due to that reason, somehow this field become very much chaotic. So using today's lecture, I am going to tell you that under what circumstances you have to go for this fractional order calculus, or under what situation you have to avoid it, because always fractional order calculus or fractional order control or fractional order system is not required. So that is the main motive of today's lecture. And again, obviously this is related to some kind of applied mathematics or some kind of abstract mathematics, but I'm going to present everything in chatty sort of way. So the main goal of this idea is to not present in form of theorem, lemma, or these kind of formulation. Just try to talk about the ideas. So I hope that you are able to get some idea related to fractional order and when you have to apply fractional order, when you have to avoid fractional order. And it is tempting to take for granted that you already know things that you might not. So I will give you several examples from the school onward. I am going to provide some kind of example where people are doing lot of mistakes. So I am going to point some kind of mistakes. I am going to fight this temptation and going to give you a sort of scientific perspective on the world. So learn back, relax, and enjoy the discussion. So finally, this last session is just one kind of discussion. And using this session, you are able to understand that why mathematics is so important. So let us start this lecture with some remark. And actually remark is about the blend application of rules. So what happens that most of time in Indian school or whatever way we are trained, most of time we are just remember the rule and we are not aware that under what circumstances this rule is correct or not correct, and we are using that rule blindly, and that kind of rule sometimes creates some kind of disaster. So try to see one simple example. So here I am going to start this lecture with simple geometrical series, and I hope that you have already seen this kind of series. So here s equal to 1 plus half plus 1 by 4 plus 1 by 8 plus 1 by 16. So one of the quick way to do summation of this infinite series, you can multiply both sides by 2, and after that what you can do, now you can see that from here to here same kind of term, because this series went to infinity. Due to that reason I am going to replace 1 plus 1 by 2, 1 plus by 4, 1 by 8 by s, and after that I will get s equal to 2. So I am going to use this trick to solve this particular series, and I hope that you all you have already aware about the formula also, that whenever I have this kind of series, then using formula I can able to get same kind of answer. So one kind of trick to solve this, I have multiplied both sides by 2 So sorry. Now everything is okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so sorry, some internet some internet problem come in between.
It's
Okay,
okay, sir.
so let us start with the blend application of rules. So what happens that I have taken this particular series, and after that I am going to sum this series by multiplying both sides by 2, and after that I will get answer s equal to 2. Now let us try to apply same kind of trick, whatever trick I have applied in previous problem. And here what happens that if I multiply both sides by 2, and here if I add plus 1 and minus 1, so you can see that if I add plus 1 here and after that remove minus 1, then same kind of series comes into picture. And what happens? Our answer is s equal to minus 1. So what happens? I am concluding now that summation of positive quantity equal to negative. So now one question comes into picture. Why is it that we trust on the first equation but not on the second equation? So this is my first observation, that if you apply rule blindly, then this kind of things comes into picture, and obviously by seeing the answer you are able to conclude that this answer is not correct, because summation of positive number is never negative. But due to that reason, we have to first understood under which situation whatever trick I have mentioned that will work or not work. Now let us try to see another situation. Obviously I will tell you the answer. Second situation is little more chaotic. Here I am going to start series s equal to 1 minus 1 plus 1 minus 1. So you can see here that now I am going to see the summation of this series. So what happens if you going to sum this series and just you try to do pairing of two quantity 1 minus 1, so pairing is 0. In this way, if you do infinite pairing, so it looks like the answer equal to 0. Second thing, you can see that now I am going to do pairing from second element onward by keeping first element. Then what happens? Minus 1 plus 1, this equal to 0, minus 1 plus 1, this equal to 0. So finally answer equal to s equal to 1. Third method you can also use. What I am going to do, I am going to take minus common here, and after that I have same series, so I am going to put s here. So s, and after that I am going to collect s in this side, so that become 2s and s equal to half. So now I have three different answers. One student is tell me that okay, answer of this particular series is 1. Another is telling no sir, answer is 0. And third one is little more smarter. He conclude that answer is half. So could you please now tell me which answer is correct and why this kind of situation comes into picture? And it is possible to show that since we haven't understood analysis properly, due to that reason we are going to do this kind of this kind of mistake. Actually what happens in the, if you see the previous example here, what happens, this series is somehow decreasing series. So if something is decreasing, then it is possible to substitute, because I am knowing that from here to here some quantity that is going to come, that is going to converge. So whenever you have some kind of converging series, then it is completely fine to substitute and apply this rule. Rule is only true for converging series. But whenever we are applying, most of time we are not aware about this. And here you can see that this series is somehow diverging. Due to that reason, I cannot apply same rule. Here I can again not apply same rule, because here this series is oscillating series, somehow oscillate between 1 minus 1, 1 minus 1, 1 minus 1. So I cannot tell that this is converging series. So whatever rule I have formulated, that is only applicable for the converging series. But if I apply for diverging series or some kind of oscillating series, then unnecessary results comes into picture. So what is my conclusion? Whenever you are going to perform some calculation, please try to go through all assumptions. Under what situation, which trick is going to work. So if you do not see the trick or assumption behind the trick, you are going to do several mistakes. And similar kind of things people are doing in case of fuzzy logic as well as fractional order calculus. So let us come to the viewpoint. Actually, there exist two different kind of people. So some people are talking about why things work. Another set of people, they are talking about how things work. And most of time, some people which believe on both, that why things work and how things work, that is equally important. But somehow second class of people, who is means large people, is belongs to second class, and that class is called pragmatic person, and always they argue that one only needs to know how to do real life problem. There is no need to unnecessary worry about why things work. But if we do not know why things work, you might have seen that I have already told you that what kind of mistake we are perform, and that is not a simple mistake. I will again try to give one example from the engineering literature, and that is very famous theorem from Laplace domain, that is called final value theorem. So idea of that theorem is like this: if you have to calculate the value of some function at infinity, and if you are able to perform the Laplace transform of that function, so by seeing Laplace transform, it is possible to talk about the value of some function at t when t tending towards the infinity. So that is the idea. So now let us try to take some function, and here sin t and ut, where ut represents the unit step function. Meaning of unit step function is t less than 0, this function equal to 0. At t equal to 0 or onward of this, that is equal to +1. So that is the meaning of unit step function. So now you can take this particular function, and I am going to apply the final value theorem. So this is result of the final value theorem, and it is well accepted result, well proved result in the literature. And here try to see that if I put t tending towards infinity, so same time in another domain, that is called frequency domain or Laplace domain, you can tell, if I put s tending towards 0, then, and if I will multiply s into fs, so I am not going to prove this theorem, just I am going to I am assuming that you are already well aware about this theorem. Otherwise, please just go to the internet and search from the Laplace domain. You are able to see this result. And after that, now you try to put this example sin t ut. You already well aware that Laplace transform of sin t I can calculate by some kind of integral 0 to infinity e power minus st into sin t, and if you calculate that integral, then you will get 1 by s square plus 1, and s I am going to multiply from here. So if you put s tending towards 0, you can see that this theorem suggests that if I have some kind of sinusoidal function, and actually this sinusoidal function is only defined in the t greater than equal to 0, that is the meaning of this particular multiplication with ut, then final value of this equal to 0. Now, but try to see here that here this result is no longer true. Why? Because you know that sin t can take any value between -1 to 1. So how I can conclude that after very large time t is tending towards 0? It means that somewhere my final value theorem is questionable if we see this example and apply the final value theorem, because in mathematics one proof methodology is proof by counter example. It means that if there exists certain theorem, and if you able to coin some example, and if that not satisfy that particular example, then full result is wrong. So by seeing this, I can conclude this, the final value theorem is wrong. So now again question comes into picture, why still people are believing on final value theorem? It means that we are somehow, whenever I have applied this kind of idea, somewhere I have logic not in proper way. Due to that reason, some wrong result comes into picture. So if you see the statement of final value theorem, so first they are talking that this theorem is only applicable when function is converging, means if there exists certain kind of limit, and you know that at t tending towards infinity, sin t is somehow oscillating between -1 to 1. It means that I cannot talk about the limit of sin t as t tending towards infinity. Due to that reason, whatever result I am getting here, that is wrong. So what kind of message I am going to give here, that most of time people are blindly applying the rule, but they are not knowing under what situation that rule will work. So whenever you are going to explore some new field, please try to see the all assumptions. If you do not see the all assumption, or if you do not go in much deeper, then you are going to make several mistakes, and finally whatever result you are getting, you become happy, but somehow that result is not correct. So this is the one example from the engineering domain. In this way, it is possible to create, at least I know this kind of example, at least 20 different example I know I have created from the engineering system, where if you apply the blend means rule blindly, then you are able to get some kind of wrong result and everything will collapse. So due to that reason, what is my suggestion? Whenever you are exploring some area, new area, please try to look why things work and how things work. Now, before coming to the fractional order, let us try to see one example. And I have written this as a motivating example. So you might have seen that in first lecture when I am presenting, at that time I have taken some kind of circuit, and here current source is just a voltage source. So here problem is little bit reverse. But I am telling that here some kind of current source, and I want to maintain some kind of a specific voltage across this resistor. And whenever we have to do this kind of things, first I have to do the mathematical model, and easily you can see that if I equal to 0, then this is our circuit. So C and voltage here V, so C dV by dt equal to minus V by R. And if this is on, then this kind of equation. So just believe on me that this is the equation. Now, what is our aim? I have told you that by switching this current from 0 to 1, it is possible to show that I can maintain any class of voltage. Obviously, some limitations I have, but I can maintain different classes of voltage here. And I am going to talk about 3 different classes. So if I have constant voltage Vd and Vd satisfies some kind of criteria, because I have already told you that due to limitation of the circuit element, I cannot able to track any arbitrary voltage, but I am telling that okay, at least I can track Vt equal to Vd by switching between 0 to 1. So current source I am going to switch from 0 to 1, and after that I am going to generate this much of constant voltage. Similarly, I want to now generate this kind of voltage. So tracking voltage is A sin omega t. So that is varying with respect to time. Again, they will satisfy this kind of inequality. Now let us try to see that most of time, means in previous lecture I was talking about two different problems, that is tracking problem and stabilization problem. And I have told you that tracking problem is exactly similar as a stabilization problem, provided that signal is differentiable. But now suppose that if signal is not differentiable, then how to proceed? Because most of time, if we are trying to track some kind of triangular signal, some kind of a square wave that are not differentiable, so that kind of difficulty we are facing. And based on class control theory, it is possible to show that that tracking problem I cannot solve it exactly. I can solve in approximate way, provided if I remove those kind of point. But sometimes, suppose that nowadays using computer we are generating pattern. Suppose you have to generate some kind of triangular pattern. So in order to generate exact triangular pattern again, I need tracking of some reference signal which is non-differentiable also. So due to that reason, one class of problem that is still not solved using classical calculus, that is the tracking of non-differentiable function. So let us try to generalize. Now I am going to generalize that class of problem. So I am telling that, okay, I have some kind of error variable Vt minus Vd. If I want to manipulate the error, because I have to manipulate the error in order to give guarantee that S equal to 0, then Vt equal to Vd, and obviously here you can see that Vd dot comes into picture. But what happens that in this situation, so I have taken 4 different situations. Sometime Vt means derivative of Vt will not exist at certain point. Sometime derivative will not exist anywhere. That kind of function might be there. Sometime that will not exist on a set of zero measures. So forget about what kind of things. I have written what is meaning of zero measure. So this is a little bit hi-fi thing. So but for time being, you can just assume that I have some kind of reference signal and that is not differentiable at certain point or not differentiable at several points. Then how to solve the tracking problem? And if you see this literature, so this is this literature in 1994, they are telling that if some function has no there is no exist first order derivative, there might exist some kind of fractional order derivative. It means that let us try to see the problem, and after that I will tell you the intuition also. So now let us try to generalize this problem. So what I am telling that, suppose I have certain kind of nonlinear system, and this system is called force system. So why I am telling this as a force system, because I have forcing function u and f is nonlinear. I am assuming that since this is nonlinear system, so most of time model of nonlinear system is only valid in a small domain. Due to that reason, I have written x belongs to D, and D is subset of the Rn. So it means that my whatever model, nonlinear model I am going to select, that is only valid inside some small region. And I am assuming that I have m number of control input, and actually this kind of assumption is required to give guarantee that this particular mathematical model has unique solution. Because I have already told you that whenever we are defining dynamical system, is that my input should be real. After that, whatever internal variable may be real or complex, that doesn't matter. But whatever output, that should be real and unique. And in order to provide the uniqueness, this kind of condition is required. Means this function should be Lipschitz in x as well as u. So it means that after this assumption, I am giving guarantee that this equation number 6 has unique solution. Another important point, that is second assumption. So main idea behind second assumption, nowadays what happens, we are simulating system using some kind of computer, and you are knowing that most of time we are not using analogous computer, we are using some kind of digital computer. And in digital computer, whatever control signal I am going to apply, that is not continuous, that is piecewise continuous. Means it means that control signal is only going to change after whenever transition happens. It means that between two transition, means between two sampling instant, that signal is constant. Due to that reason, I am assuming that ut is piecewise continuous bounded function for all t. It means that this system, this particular system, has unique solution for this class of function. Otherwise, I am not able to simulate this system using computer. So now our main objective is to track this signal x equal to xt, and now here there is no exist any restriction on xt. Xt may be non-differentiable, then now question is that is it possible to design some kind of control action such that I can able to track this class of signal? And based of my knowledge, you can see that up to 2019 people have just solved this problem based on certain kind of approximation. They never coined this kind of problem. Several people is just neglecting this problem, but somehow we come up with the solution of this class of problem, and that is published in IEEE transaction on circuit system, that non-differentiable function tracking, and this is now available. So idea is like this. Suppose some function do not have first order derivative at some point or any point. So some kind of function that is called this function. You can see that this function is continuous everywhere. That is called wire stress function. Mathematics people has created this function, but this function is nowhere differentiable. So I cannot track this kind of signal using classical calculus theory. So we have to see some other theory. So now what happens, that next question, is it possible to measure and compare the smoothness with the other classes of functions? So what I am telling, suppose now I am going to give you one situation that you have one autonomous robot, and now I am telling robot to move from path A to B, and suppose from path A to B there exist n number of paths. So how actually robot will decide that which path is better? So or you can take example of your city. Suppose that you want to move from one point to another point, and you might, by seeing your eye, even if some path has a lot of, means if you see the Indian road, then this kind of situation is obvious, that I cannot assume that all roads are smooth. There always exists some kind of discontinuity. And how basically robot are telling that some path is better? They somehow, based on the information of continuity and some kind of differentiability, they are detecting that which path is more better. So now suppose there exists two paths, and both paths, obviously that is continuous, connecting between one point to another point, but in one path I have more discontinuity, another path has less discontinuity. We are intelligent enough, so we are easily detecting, but how robot will detect it? So we have to give some kind of mathematical information to the robot such that they will detect it. So it means that if two functions are continuous but not differentiable, so at what extent I will tell that some function is more smoother than other? If one function is continuous and differentiable and another is continuous and not differentiable, then obviously robot is easily able to detect that which path is better. But now suppose the worst condition where two path is continuous but not differentiable, then how basically robot will detect it? So we have to give some kind of concrete mathematical formulation for this. And in today's lecture, you are able to see that using fractional calculus, I am able to solve such class of problem. Now let us come to the another example, because most of time whenever we are talking about the calculus, we are using calculus for the modeling of system, some kind of deterministic system, some kind of stochastic system. So using calculus we try to model it. So now question is that, can we give a deterministic natural assumption in some known cases to justify the use of fractional order system? Because I have told you that most of time what people are doing, if some result is existing or some model is existing for integer order system, they just put some kind of alpha, and after that they are telling that okay, where alpha is fractional order derivative, but they are not discussing that really that fractional things is required or not. So we have to somehow separate some kind of situation where fractional theory is really required, some kind of deterministic phenomena we have to identify, and answer of this question is affirmative. So I am going to talk about one model and this is called population model. So this is very, very famous model. And what happens that we have two species, and here first you can put L1 equal to 0 and M1 equal to 0. So suppose that if you have certain kind of species in one environment, and if we have sufficient amount of food, and suppose that their health condition is very, very good, then what happens? Their growth rate is exponential. So due to that reason, dx by dt x minus k1, and I am assuming that L1 equal to 0, M1 equal to 0. So what happens if I have just one species, and if environmental condition is very, very favorable, then their growth rate is exponential. Why I am telling exponential? Because this differential equation k1 is positive, and you know that dx by dt, where x belongs to r, k1 in x, k1 multiplied by x, it means that rate of change is going to increase. So after some time, function is going to diverge. And by solution also you are able to see that this particular part is gives us exponential divergence. Similarly, if k2 is positive, similarly second species will grow with the exponential rate. But what happens if two species are there in same environment? Always there exists certain kind of competition, and due to that reason this terms comes into picture, M1 into y. It means that both the species try to increase their population, but population of first species is affected by the other species. Similarly, here M2x terms comes into picture. After that, you can try to see that L1x and L2y term. So this term is telling that population of something is not going to increase beyond certain limit due to some food limitation, due to some kind of things comes into picture. Due to that reason, that is the role of this term. They are telling that even if you leave two species, then their population comes into one kind of equilibrium after certain time, and that is the responsibility of this term. So same kind of things I have explained here. So you can see that first I am removing two terms, and after solution what we have found that their growth rate of both is exponential one. And after that is the justification that if there is favorable environment, then number of species is going to grow exponentially. And after certain, I have told you that after certain point, what happens that if number of one species is going to increase, then other is going to decrease, and due to that reason second terms comes into picture. And similarly I can justify x square and y square. Now let us try to see the assumption. What is our assumption? We are assuming that growth of one species is somehow exponential in nature, and exponential means some kind of distorted exponential, one can tell, because due to the participation of two terms, that is L1x means some kind of coupling between two dynamics, and after that x square some kind of factor. But most of time nowadays you might have seen that lot of research is going on this area, that uncontrolled growth of the cancer cell, slow growth of human population in unfavorable environment. It is now we are actually somehow we are affected by the pandemic. Initially the pandemic has disturbed us a lot, so we are thinking that same kind of situation we are hoping that comes into picture, but somehow we are safe. So here means whatever assumption we are assuming that in some kind of situation I have exponential rate, that is basically not true. So due to that reason we have to talk that this rate is not exponential, something that is more general than exponential, but in a special case that also become exponential, and this function has a special name that is called Mittag-Leffler function. So what I am telling that this kind of growth is able to capture unfavorable condition also. Unfavorable condition means if cancer growth become very, very huge, means more than exponential or less than exponential, then also this operator that is called Mittag-Leffler function. So for time being, just you can assume that this function, and in some special situation that it looks like exponential function. And if you take the fractional derivative on both hand side, then this kind of dynamics comes into picture. And due to that reason, people are telling that if we have some kind of unfavorable situation, at that time integer order model is not correct one. We have to go for the more better model, more correct model, that is fractional order model. So that is the another motivation for the modeling. So till now what happens that we have defined this d power alpha, but we do not know how to define this d power alpha. So let us try to see the intuition of this definition. So till now what we have observed, that I have talked about one general class of problem, that is tracking problem, and if my function is not reference function is not differentiable, then I cannot track it exactly. So I have to see another approach. Second problem, in some classes of modeling, this kind of things is really required. So in between of lecture, I am going to give some more examples. So let us start the motivation of the fractional calculus. So what fractional calculus is telling, that initially when our civilization is slowly become mature, at that time first we have coined the some kind of integer, that is 0, 1, 2, 3 for the just for the counting purpose. Later what happens, suppose I have one apple and I want to divide that one apple into two people, then they found that integer is not enough, so we have to define something else, and that in that way fraction comes into picture. Similar kind of things here actually come in terms of dimension, because in order to see the qualitative picture of any quantity, dimension is very, very important. So they are telling that initially, if you see the Euclidean theory, they are assuming that dimension of line is 1, dimension of this kind of a space is 2, dimension of this kind of means cube is 3. So in this way they have defined the dimension, and dimension somehow represent the packing, and it is possible to show that there are several natural things that do not require integer or dimension to pack it, and that is called fractals, and due to that reason fractional dimension comes into picture. So integer become non-integer, dimension become again fractional dimension, that is called fractals. And similarly, initially Newton has developed calculus to understand the rate of change of some process with respect to another variable. So they have defined first order derivative, second order derivative, similarly first order integral, second order integral, or like that. So now what people are telling, that between any two integer there exists some kind of non-integer, any two dimension there exists some kind of dimension, that is called fractal dimension. Similarly, initially if you see the classical mathematical theory, then that is based on only binary logic. It means that I am assuming that some proposition or mathematical statement is either true and false. So based on that true and false information, I have developed whole mathematics. What fuzzy logic is suggesting, it might possible something lie between 0 and 1. So something will miss decision here. In classical mathematical theory, you can see that I can give guarantee either things is true or false, but fuzzy logic will not give this kind of guarantee. And why I have told that several bad results come into fuzzy logic, because you can see that assumption of fuzzy logic, they are telling that there exists some kind of intermediate phenomena. But if you see the development of fuzzy logic, most of time people are just using the result which is already existing for the definite logic blindly. They never care about the extension, and due to that reason, various approximately people are expecting that 70 to 80% papers of fuzzy logic is just wrong, because they are not caring about the proper logic. And now, so in similar fashion, people are telling that fractional calculus is some kind of non-integer calculus or in between calculus, and this is somehow people are telling that this is just a abuse of terminology. So somehow what I am telling that fractional thinking is in between thinking, same like integer, dimension, logic, and similarly for calculus, this kind of things comes into picture. So let us try to see the origin of fractional calculus. And if you see the story, then that is very old. Same in same era, actually Newton has developed the classical calculus, and at the same time this question comes into picture. So what happens? Leibniz actually means L'Hopital retain one letter to Leibniz quoting this, what if the order of n equal to half? So they have defined this kind of operator, d power n f t power n equal to half, and he asked to L'Hopital at that time, whenever people are publishing papers, they are actually sending their idea or paper using some kind of letter exchange, people are telling. I have read somewhere. So they have sent one letter to this great mathematician Leibniz. So what Leibniz is reply to L'Hopital, that it will lead to a paradox, means they are telling that at this time the physical meaning of this is not clear, but it might possible that after some time we are able to come with some kind of concrete result, and this may change the field. And after 300 years, if you see the application of fractional calculus in engineering, that is not very old. Just people are talking about application of fractional order calculus in engineering from last 20 years. I think that is started and become mature just from the 2010 onward. So due to that reason, people are telling that this is the era of now fractional calculus. So after that, means you can see that here this question is posed in 30 September 1695, if I remember correctly. That is the birthday of the fractional calculus, people are telling. After that, after several years, people have to wait for the concrete definition of the fractional order derivative, and these people, Riemann and Liouville, has given this kind of definition. I will tell you that how basically they land up with this particular definition. So for time being, just you can assume that this is the definition of fractional order derivative. One more important thing, actually I have told you that in between I will share some more example. So here one obvious example, I have some certain kind of a spring, and I am assuming a spring as a solid, and if I apply a stress, then a strain is developed. And if you see the relation between stress and strain, then I hope that you all are already well aware that stress is proportional to the strain. Here now try to see the second example. Second example is somehow the dashpot, or you can assume some kind of liquid. So what you can do, you can take one liquid, and after that you can apply a stress and try to measure the strain, and it is possible to show that now proportionality relation will not hold. So it is proved by Newton that sigma t is equal to some constant eta, and d power 1 is first derivative E dot t. Now what happens if you see the biological things now, because we are talking about robotic doctor, we are talking about certain kind of polynomial, certain kind of gel, and these substances has some kind of intermediate structure that is not fully solid, not fully liquid. And if I apply some kind of a stress, then what is mathematical model? Because now I cannot treat some quantity as a fully solid or fully liquid. So some intermediate structure is there, and due to that reason, some intermediate calculus is required. So this is the another motivation. And nowadays in mathematical biology, because one of the branch which is growing a lot, that is mathematical biology, people are using this kind of model to justify the observation. Several kind of input output data they try to feed, and they are telling that this is the mathematical model for this particular system. It means that whenever robotic doctor try to give syringe to us, then they will detect the property of our biological fluid or biological muscle that will satisfy the third kind of property. Due to that reason, they are telling that fractional order calculus is required. So now let us try to see that how to define. Means up to here we have just seen that why fractional order calculus is required and what is the motivation. Now I am going to fix some kind of definition, particularly in the engineering prospect. If you see the literature of fractional calculus, still every day people are proposing new definition, and if you see the definition, you become hang up that which definition is proper, which definition is not proper. And if you see the definition, because in mathematics I can define any quantity in infinite many way. Definition is nothing but just like giving name to someone. So either you can give someone name as a Mohan, Sohan, whatever way you can give. After that, just you have to believe on that name and you have to develop the theory. So in this way, people have given different name. But in classical calculus, definition of integral, derivative, all are fixed. So everyone is quite agree that this is the definition. But again, in fractional calculus, we have a sense of that maturity. So let us try to see two definitions at least, that is Riemann-Liouville definition and another is Caputo definition. So before coming to the definition of fractional derivative, first I am going to talk about the definition of fractional integral. Because if you know the definition of fractional integral, it is easy, one can easily extend it for the derivative. One more important thing here I am going to highlight, in classical calculus, integral is the reverse process of the differential or vice versa, but that is not always true in case of fractional calculus. So how they are telling that, how basically we are generalizing the definition. First you can take the first integral. So d power minus half represent the first integral in classical integral, you can see. After that you can repeat it, and it is possible to show this kind of result is already existing in literature, that if you integrate some function and if that function is sufficiently integrable, n times sufficiently integrable, then it is possible to show that after n time of integration, this kind of quantity comes into picture. So that is the derivation. So please do not worry about the derivation, just you can see the result. And this kind of result is called Cauchy integral. Cauchy integral means if you have some function ft and if you integrate that function n time, then whatever quantity that comes into picture, that is called Cauchy integral. And during Cauchy integral, what we have observed that here factorial function comes into picture, n minus one kind of function comes into picture. And now I am going to talk about intermediate derivative. So we have to understand that if I am taking integer order derivative n time, then how basically this particular quantity is changing. So if you see this particular quantity, so if n, then this become n minus 1, and below of this somehow some factorial function comes into picture. So what is the motivation? At if you are taking one integral, then factorial 1 comes into picture. If you take two integral, then factorial 2 comes into picture, and similarly where factorial is increasing. Now you can calculate the factorial of 1, 2, n and 4 and try to make some kind of continuous curve. And if you see this curve carefully, then there exists certain kind of function which is the generalization of factorial function, and that is nothing but gamma function. And one can define gamma function like this. So this is very standard result, that using this, if you just put the integer point, then so integer point is z plus 1. So you can see that I will get z and some kind of gamma function z. So for integer point, what happens? This gamma function is just like some kind of factorial function. So what is motivation? You can just replace this factorial function, because now I have to take about the derivative at each point, means integral at each and every point. So what I am telling that I know d power, I have to calculate d power minus half, d power minus 3 by 4, d power anything. So motivation of Riemann and Liouville is that they have first see this curve, and after that in place of factorial function they have just replaced by generalized function, that is gamma function, and after that this kind of result come into picture. And here by seeing this relation, because if that is z plus 1, then gamma z comes into picture, and due to that reason you can see that here factorial n minus 1, and due to that reason they have put here gamma n. And now they are telling that now you can take any value and maybe any real number. If you put that real number here, and if you define this kind of integral, so now n is not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, n can be anything. In this way, the definition of fractional order integral comes into picture. Now let us come to the definition of fractional order derivative. So in order to define fractional order derivative, they have taken help of the classical calculus, and they are telling that now I know the fractional order integral. So by taking help of fractional order derivative, I am able to define integer order derivative. I can define the fractional order derivative. So suppose you can take example, I want to calculate d power half. Here that is fractional derivative because alpha is positive. If alpha is negative, then fractional order integral we are telling. So what they are telling that if you have d power alpha, means d power half you have to calculate, then try to see the nearest integer. So if alpha is half, then that lie between 0 to 1. So basically here you have d power 1, and d power 1 is nothing but first derivative, and after that you can put m equal to 1 and alpha equal to half, because I am willing to calculate alpha equal to half order derivative. So due to that reason, first I will see the range of this, and after seeing the range of this, because alpha means half lie between 0 to 1, so everywhere I am going to substitute m equal to 1 and alpha equal to half. So it is possible to see that second quantity is nothing but some kind of fractional integral, and we already know that how to define the fractional integral. So same kind of quantity basically comes into picture here, and this is the integer order derivative. Suppose you have to calculate 3 by 4. So 3 by 4 again lie between 1 to 2, so you have to substitute m equal to 2, and here 2 minus 3 by 4, and here d2 by dt square means 2 time derivative comes into picture. So in this way one can define the Riemann-Liouville fractional order derivative. So now another class of people are telling that if you are going to do this, then I will do the reverse process. First I will take the fractional order integral, and after that I will take the fractional integer order derivative, and due to that reason you can see here that another definition comes into picture, that is the Caputo derivative. And I have told you that derivation or definition of derivation is somehow based on intuition, and definition means giving the name. So just we are talking about intuition, and after that we have to believe on that intuition, and after that subsequently we have to see that result is true or not. So now try to see that these two definitions are not same, because here in first place we are telling that if function is integrable somehow, and after integration we are taking the derivative, but in second definition I am taking the m. M means in order to calculate half derivative I have to know the full derivative. So suppose that if some function is not one time differentiable, then I cannot calculate the half derivative. But in this first definition, even if function is not one time differentiable, still I can calculate the half derivative. And most of time if you see that people are using this result blindly, but here you can see that this is very restrictive result, because we are assuming that higher order derivative exists.
नहीं तो दिखाई दे रहे थे आपका आपका कैमरा हैंग था लेकिन वो नहीं था।
So due to that reason, this Caputo derivative is more restrictive than Riemann-Liouville derivative. And most of time, whenever I am writing paper, then I am using Riemann-Liouville derivative because that required lesser strict condition. Now try to see one more important thing, that if you use some kind of, suppose you have to calculate the derivative of half ft equal to half, and after that means if you use Caputo derivative, then what happens, that derivative of some constant function is 0. So that is true if you use Caputo derivative. But if you use the Riemann-Liouville derivative, then you can see that derivative of constant function is non-zero. And what is physical interpretation? Suppose you have some system, you can apply some force F equal to 1 for some time delta, and after that you can remove the response. So people are telling that after applying force, response or some kind of fluctuation inside system is not die quickly. They will persist for a long time. So due to that reason, I cannot tell that if I remove some force from some system, then their effect is vanish simultaneously. It takes long time, and due to that reason, Riemann-Liouville derivative is more justified than the classical derivative. That is the interpretation people are telling. And somehow that is also true if you have some kind of intermediate system, means that is neither solid or nor liquid. In this case, if you apply some kind of constant force, and even if you will remove, you are able to see the effect of that force for very long time. And due to that reason, people are telling that in that situation, Riemann-Liouville derivative is more justified. Let us try to see another situation. Another situation is that I have modeled some kind of system using some set of differential equation, classical differential equation, and after that I have modeled same system using fractional order differential equation. What happens that what people have observed that some system they have model using integer order, and whatever result that is coming means it is showing mathematically that system is unstable, but original system is stable. So why this kind of discrepancy comes into picture? It means that whatever way we are going to model that system, that is very, very restrictive. Some kind of things we are going to do wrong. So they are telling that in case of integer order derivative, if you apply some kind of fractional order derivative, and it is very clear from this example that means for certain range, and that range is lambda, if that lie from 0 to 1, then this system is stable, means fractional order system is stable, but integer order system is always unstable. So they are telling that if during modeling you have developed some kind of integer order model, and you found during theoretical analysis that system is unstable, but in originally if your system is stable, then please do not use the integer order modeling, go for the fractional order modeling, because whatever information that is given by your model, that is incorrect. So again, in that situation you can use the fractional order derivative. And same kind of things I have written here. So it means that one more important thing I am going to highlight here. If you see the definition of both derivative, means integer order derivative or fractional order derivative. So inside integer order derivative, integral sign is involved, and whenever integral sign is involved means that requires the information of past. It means that, and past information means I have information from 0 to t. It means that fractional order calculus is not local calculus, but in order to calculate the derivative, one can calculate derivative at a point, but I cannot calculate fractional order derivative at a point. Always I need some kind of information from 0 to t, and due to that reason people are telling that the fractional order calculus is non-local calculus and it carries the history. So they are telling that every system has certain kind of history, and most of time integer order, if we are using integer order differential equation, then we missed that kind of history. But if I use fractional order calculus, then appropriate way I can actually able to connect the history with our modeling. So whenever history is very crucial, one can use the fractional order derivative. So that is the another justification. You might have seen that lot of people, means I have already told you that lot of result in fractional order theory is wrong. What people are doing, they are converting fractional order system into integer order system, and after that they are talking about the theory. And in that way, what happens? I can tell that fractional order system is somehow class of integer order system. So let us try to see this kind of equivalency. So what I am telling, I have taken simple fractional order system. So this is LTI system, linear time invariant system. Linear time invariant system means AT matrix is not going to depend on the time we are assuming, and that will satisfy the linearity property. So I am telling that this system is either equivalent to this system, this integer order system, or this kind of time varying system, or this class of system. Because what people are doing, they are telling that fractional order system is equivalent to higher order linear time varying or linear time invariant system. Then again, question is that why one can go for fractional order system just in order to reduce the dimension, but that is not the case. Try to see the equivalence. If you see the equivalence, since this is linear system, so I can apply the Laplace transform, and if you apply the Laplace transform, so this is the result of Laplace transform. So if you apply Laplace transform of this is s power minus half, and it is possible to show that this particular d power xt is equivalent to this. And finally, if you take the inverse Laplace transform, then you are able to get this. So here you can see that if we are taking Laplace transform, in case of integer order, I have s x x, and here alpha minus 1, alpha equal to 1, so this is x0. But here that is just extension of that, and after that we are getting this kind of things. Now try to see that, because we are talking about equivalence, so if d power alpha xt equal to a power xt is exactly equal to this, then I can tell that this particular fractional order system is equivalent to this particular system. But try to see this term, second term. So I am going to interpret this term like this in form of control. We are telling that, okay, I have certain kind of system. Now whatever extra term that comes into picture, I am going to analyze that system as a control, where B and UT. So B part, I am telling I have this matrix AX0, and whatever rest part, that is control input. So try to analyze this control input t power minus half, and if you see the integral of this control input, because whenever we are applying control input, we are seeing that what is the value of that control input, and if you integrate, or it is pretty easy to see that in this particular example, if t is very small, at that time ut is very large. It means that ut is not a proper function. In reality, there does not exist an input ut with limit power satisfying. Means in this way we are calculating the power of some signal which is equivalent to fractional order system. It means that if I have some kind of infinite power, then I can tell that integer order system and fractional order system is equivalent. Otherwise I cannot tell. It means that whatever equivalence we are talking, that is wrong, that is not correct, particularly from the control design point of view or other thing. But people are telling, okay, means for stability analysis, one can do this kind of, because whenever we are talking about stability, at that time we are not worrying the magnitude of control. Control may be anything, maybe infinity, maybe improper. So at that situation, one can convert that into equivalent of some integer and then apply the theory. So somehow with some restriction, that theory is valid. But particularly for control design point of view, whenever you are transferring fractional order system into integer order system and designing control, then whatever control you are getting, even if that will work, but mathematically that is wrong. Now let us try to come to the generalization of this. What I am telling, that some signal is not differentiable in classical sense, but that is differentiable in fractional sense, and this is triangular signal, and it is possible to show that derivative of triangular signal is given like this. So basically, first order derivative will not exist because you can easily calculate this derivative by putting inside the formula. So please check it that whatever derivative I have calculated, that is correct or not. And after that, how basically we are telling limit will exist? Again, in same way, I am telling that 1 minus 1, because only I am assuming that triangular signal, I have some kind of triangular signal, and whatever point, transition point, I have t equal to 1. So I have to check the both hand side of derivative, and t equal to 1. So in fractional sense, derivative will exist, but classical sense, derivative will not exist. Similarly, you are able to create another function where classical derivative will not exist, but fractional derivative will exist. And in short, if some function is continuous, then always it is possible to show that certain kind of fractional order derivative will exist, and that is true. So just you have to make sure that function is continuous. Another important property you may see later. People are telling that if continuous function satisfies some kind of mathematical condition, then you can also able to guess what is power of that derivative. So that is a little bit hi-fi result. So I am not going to talk in this particular presentation. So we are just telling that if some function is continuous, then classical derivative will not exist, but at least some kind of fractional order derivative exists. It means that I can always compare two continuous functions. That which function is more smoother. So suppose if I have two functions and that is continuous, even if first order derivative will not exist, but by seeing alpha, if value of alpha is 3/4, so all derivative from 0 to 3/4 will exist. So that is more smoother if d power alpha equal to half. In this way, we are comparing two function which is continuous but not differentiable. Later, people means whenever you have some kind of operator, then you have to see the realization. What is meaning of realization? So suppose you have done certain kind of experiment, and after that you come up with some kind of transfer function. So from transfer function, is it possible to actually get the state space representation of that system or not? And if you are able to get that state space representation, then you might have seen in means classical control system that using OPAM, operational amplifier, I can realize it. So later people have shown that in case of fractional order also, one can realize this kind of function 1 by s power half or a square root of half using this kind of arrangement. So I am not going to discuss, just I am going to give you idea. So this is means whenever we have certain kind of transfer function, it is possible to make some kind of analog circuit. Obviously digital program one can develop using computer, but most of time people are talking about the analog implementation. So that result is existing in the literature. Now let us come to the another problem. Some of you might working on the electrical system where super capacitor or super inductor people are using. And nowadays, if you see the renewable energy, then we have to store more and more energy, and due to that reason super compensator or super capacitor is required. So what is main idea? That whenever we are doing modeling of some capacitor, we are assuming that there exists no resistance inside that material, and under that situation we are assuming IT equal to dq by dt. But you cannot create any material which has no resistance. Another thing, people are telling, okay, I am not worrying about resistance. Whenever resistance, then I will add some kind of extra resistance in series, and after that I can apply this. But that is not justified, because resistance is not basically concentrated at one point, that is distributed inside the system. So integer order modeling actually not work exactly. So due to that reason, fractional order modeling is required. And if you see some research group of IIT Kharagpur, So they have shown that, means they have developed some kind of capacitor using some kind of experiment, they will satisfy this kind of property. So please check that. After that, similarly, for fractional order inductor, here in integer order inductor I have L di by dt, but here I have this kind of relation. It means that we are assuming that inductor may have some kind of resistance again that is distributed, and due to that reason some dissipation occur, some more energy they can store, and that can be captured using this kind of operator. So now, in order to solve the tracking problem, what I have to do, I have to modify this circuit such that it will generate any kind of reference voltage that is non-differentiable also. So what I have done, that in place of classical capacitor, I have replaced that using supercapacitor. And if you replace this by supercapacitor, obviously this kind of expression comes into picture. And I have already told you that one can able to build some kind of supercapacitor. So you can physically, it is possible to develop those kind of circuit also, and everything remains the same. So now, if I have this kind of system, then it can generate or it can track any kind of non-differentiable signal also. So again, now you can define S equal to Vt minus Vd, and now there is no need to see the rate of change here with respect to integer derivative. You can take the fractional derivative, and after that, now d power alpha Vt dt power alpha you can put from there, and after that, now what happens if I put from d power alpha Vt by dt power alpha, and again by whatever things I have taught in the previous class, that using on-off control, means if S is 0 and d power alpha st, means if S is positive, then just we have to make sure that d power s dt power alpha is negative, and vice versa. Like that, it is possible to show that S equal to 0. Now, if you see that paper, because I haven't put all result of that paper, that is 5-page brief paper. So I have also shown in that paper, if you have now some integer order system, how to replace that integer order system by some kind of fractional order controller, such that I can able to track any non-differentiable signal. So please now go to that paper, because to avoid more technical part during this discussion session. So now let us come to the other possibility where one can use this kind of result. So you might have seen that most of time whenever we have nonlinear system, then how basically we are designing control, we are linearizing. So suppose I will give you one very simple example, that you have one kind of underwater vehicle, marine people are using that, and suppose that in that vehicle, sometime you may have heard about some submarine vehicle which is submerged inside the sea, and after that they are monitoring the boat. Suppose some leakage happens. So what happens? Water going to enter inside that vehicle, inside that particular robot or particular vehicle. So I have to make some kind of arrangement such that I can pump out all water. And if you see that model, then it is possible to show that where root h kind of things comes into picture. And if you try to take the derivative and you have to maintain h equal to 0, then that is not differentiable. So that nonlinear system I cannot linearize. So if we are not unable to linearize, then what kind of methodology one can suggest? I hope that this problem can be solved using fractional order. After that, I have already told you that some kind of, whenever we are using PI controller, and we are assuming that disturbance is differentiable, but most of time that disturbance is not differentiable. At that time, it is possible to go for fractional PI controller, because you know that if some disturbance, continuous disturbance is going to enter, then some class of derivative will exist. So using the theory of fractional calculus, you are able to compensate the non-differentiable disturbance using some kind of PI controller. or p power I alpha controller. Now what happens? Some cooperative control we are talking about nowadays, and if suppose you are making some kind of cooperative control under some kind of C, or where some kind of viscoelastic material is there, it is possible to show that again fractional order things comes into picture, because you cannot represent viscoelastic material either by solid and liquid, then again this kind of things comes into picture. Or flying vehicle with very high speed now, because we are trying to make some kind of way, means aeroplane which can fly with the very high speed. At that time it is possible to show that one cannot deal that kind of mathematical model using integer order calculus. So these are some kind of open problem you can look using this kind of calculus, fractional order calculus. So what is my summary now? That we have analyzed several situations. In some situation I have justified that use of fractional calculus, and now you are able to understand that under what situation at least I have to go for fractional order and not go for the fractional order. Something I haven't covered using this lecture, that is the physical interpretation of the fractional order integral, fractional order derivative, because for that lot of mathematical background is needed, and due to that reason in this limited time I haven't present, but in next time if I have chance then I will present that. So conclusion is that fractional calculus is the calculus of 21st century for physical system description and control. What people are telling that already we have modeled lot of system using integer order. So now we are actually taking some kind of system which is not either solid or not. So we need another method of modeling. Till now we haven't understood the all mechanism of our body, and most of time that is governed by fractional calculus. So for that particular problem this calculus is important. So with this remark I am going to close the today's session, and now I am going to open this session for the questions. So thank you very much for listening me from, I think that I am on time. Hello.
Yes, sir. Am I audible, sir?
Yeah.
Am I audible, sir?
Hello.
Am I audible, sir?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. You are exactly on time, sir. And we may now enter into the question answer session. So,
okay, thank you.
Dear participants, please, you can write in the chat box, and even if you want, you can unmute yourself and you can come. So now I can see one question from Mr. Ravi Shankar Prakash Desai. How to obtain fractional order model?
So actually obtaining means for my knowledge, 3 different ways one can obtain the model. So first simple way, what you can do, you can take one physical process. I am assuming that some physical system is available to me. After that, what I will do, I can apply the input and I will record all kind of output. And after that, after getting the input and output data, we try to do curve fitting. And if you do curve fitting, it is possible to show that whatever curve that is going to generate, that will not satisfy some kind of well-known class of function. So they will satisfy either some kind of generalized class of function. Suppose some kind of most of time it is possible to show that will satisfy some kind of Mittag-Leffler function. And if you take the inverse, means after doing curve fitting, now if they will satisfy the Mittag-Leffler function, then corresponding solution you have to see that means what it means if this this particular input and output data will satisfy this curve, then what is the corresponding model? It is possible to show that is the fractional order model. So this is the first way if you have some physical system. Another way, that is that people are telling that based on, I have already told you that if you have some system, suppose just you can take example of card pendulum system. So you might have seen that I have a certain kind of card, and on that top of that card I have certain kind of pendulum. Now what you can do that, always what we are assuming that whatever joint between this card, so I am assuming this phone as a card and this as a pendulum.
Actually,
So
there is some issues in voice. Actually, there is some issues in. Hello, sir, noise voice. Hello, noise.
hello. Now is it okay?
Sir. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, yes, sir.
So what I am telling that, now I will tell you that under what situation means this one class of model you can do modeling based on input output data. Second class, suppose you can take simple example. I hope that you all are sometime you face this modeling problem. You have certain kind of card and you have certain kind of one link or pendulum kind of a structure, and by controlling, applying this force, you have to control the position of this particular link or particular manipulator. Now suppose that this joint, most of time if you see the physical system, that joint is not rigid, and we are assuming that that is rigid. Suppose that some viscoelastic material if you replace on that joint, so it is possible to show that since viscoelastic material that is interacting between two systems, that is represented by fractional order, so overall system again become fractional order system. So in this way, based on first principle, you are again able to do the fractional order modeling. Third one is based on energy. So again, similar kind of extension, because Lagrangian function, so people have extended that Lagrangian function in fractional order domain. So based on Lagrangian also you can do. So in this way, somehow we are dealing with model. So actually I have written one book, means one monograph particularly, that means I will send you the copy of that monograph, and please means just do favor me, do not share that copy on internet. Obviously means on other place on internet that is available, that doesn't matter, but please do not share because I am going to send you, and after that you can go through the first two chapters. I have discussed everything, all aspect of this, means under what situation you can do the fractional order model or these kind of things. So I hope that this answer will give you some clue how to do mathematical model of some fractional order system. Another question?
Yes, sir. Can I equate the integer and fractional order model? This is from Ravi Shankar Prakash Desai.
I have already told you that one cannot do that if you want to design some kind of control. But suppose if you just want to do analysis, you want to see the stability, you want to see the controllability, then you can able to do that, because at that time control magnitude may be infinity also. So if you are assuming that your system can sustain infinite amount of force, under that situation integer order model and fractional order model both are same. Under that situation you can do, otherwise you cannot do. So it is better to avoid.
So another question I can see from Mr. Sushant Nandan, how the memory issue on fractional models work?
So actually what happened that I have already said that suppose I have input and I have output. So I have, whenever we are defining dynamical system, then I have real input and real output. In between there exists some kind of function, and I can define function in different way. So now suppose that if my system has certain kind of memory, and if you use fractional order derivative, and you have already seen that whenever we are defining fractional order derivative, then integral is involved. And if you see the interpretation of integral, that is nothing but they contain the continuous summation from the past point to certain point, some present point. And due to that reason, they are telling that if you define d power alpha t by dt power alpha, then automatically due to the integral action, they are also going to cover all memory kind of variable. And means you can think like this. Suppose I have told you that whenever I have intermediate system, if you apply some kind of force, then suddenly effect of force will not zero. Some always means after removing force also we have certain kind of effect. So how to justify, because Newton calculus is telling that if you remove the force, then effect equal to 0, but that is not the 0. Always some action is inside that. So that kind of means due to memory, that kind of action is persist inside the system. So using fractional order integral, because fractional order integral is itself containing some kind of fractional order derivative itself containing some kind of integral. So using integral, it is possible to capture that kind of phenomenon. So I hope that means you are agree with this answer, or if you have another.
Yes, sir. I have a question, sir, with your permission. May I ask you?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yes, sir. So I do work on the approximation, so model order reduction. So what we do is for a higher order system, there are so many methods. We try to represent through a simplified model, simplified representation of the original system. So do it mean the fractional order system are the simplified model of the if they are being converted into integer order, so they always happens to be very high order. So does it mean the fractional order systems to be the approximation of the higher order integer model, or what we can say in terms of the accuracy of the model?
So let us come to the modeling part. So I have already told you that means if I have input and output data, so in finite many way I can correlate input and output. So modeling is not always unique. So whenever you are doing the modeling of some system, so try to understand the prospect. So people are telling that if you are doing modeling for control purpose, then model should be as simple as possible. Otherwise, what happens that you are not able to track that model. Track that model means whatever analysis you are going to perform, that is not exact. And whatever mismatch, that is taken care by robust control action. So due to that reason, they are telling that for control purpose, exact modeling is not required. Approximate simple model is always accurate. And due to that reason, concept of model order reduction comes into picture. So they are telling that, okay, even if my system has 100 order, but 2 and 3 variable, in terms of 2 and 3 variable, it is possible to show that all my response is dominated by that 2 and 3 variables. So somehow I have to control that 2 and 3 variables, then I can control the whole process. And due to that reason, people are doing the model order reduction, and whatever control they are designing based on reduced order model, same kind of control is applicable for the original system. So that is the main motivation. So if you are control engineer, so at that time, means believe on me, fractional order model for lot of process is not required. But suppose if you are working on some biological process, and there people are doing modeling to understand the nature. So if you are really want to understand the nature, then somehow you have to interpret the input and output data correctly. So at that time, exact modeling is required. So we have two different kind of people. So suppose if you are belongs to some community or some kind of physics people, so why physics people are doing modeling? They try to understand the phenomena. Why control people are doing modeling? They try to control the process. So for control engineer, exact modeling is not required. But for the second class of people, means physics people or those who are try to understand the reality, for that people exact modeling is required. So means what is my suggestion? So that if I have some system and if physics people is doing fractional order modeling, that is okay. But for engineers, because I have control action, so even if I have mismatch, then I can apply the robust control. So please do not go for the complicated model. Simple model is enough. Otherwise, your control action becomes so much complicated that numerically that is not feasible. Some kind of practical circuit you are not able to make. Lot of delay comes into picture, and finally your control system is collapsed because feedback. What people are telling that feedback is not always better. You might have seen that means due to feedback, lot of problem comes into picture in media also. If we have lot of feedback, then what happens? Finally, we are unable to judge what is real thing. So same kind of things happens. Due to that reason, means I have gone through several books. They are suggesting that for control people, models should be simple. And due to that reason, I am suggesting that particularly for control people, please do not go for fractional order modeling if that is not really required. So if you want to track some kind of non-differentiable signal, if you want to reject some non-differentiable disturbance, obviously you can go for fractional order modeling and control. But most of the case, integer order modeling is enough. So that is just my comment or observation. Another question, please.
Sir, hello, sir. Please provide us your email ID.
Email ID. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
So that will be shared. Don't worry, that will be shared.
Okay.
So often it is said, sir, with the little loss of accuracy, if we have a much simplified model, and that is in fact the target of model order reduction or approximation.
Yeah.
So, so with this, we can make a statement that with the little loss of accuracy, we can have the simpler model. That should be our main motive for as a control engineer.
Yeah, control engineer. That is the main motive.
And the second thing, sir, often in the many of the literature, it is proven that that the fractional order, even in case of PID, the fractional order PID happens to outperform with the other conventional PID controller and with the other controller as well. So they always try to show the superiority of these fractional order controllers.
So here I am going to give you one comment. If you gone through that paper, actually try to compare, means you can see that how people are comparing. I have seen that they are taking KP, KI, and KD. So different set of KP, KI, KD they are putting for PID controller, and different set of PID they are putting for fractional order PID. So obviously I cannot compare. It is somehow we are means comparing elephant with dog. So like that, some kind of situation comes into picture. So what you can do, best way to compare, you can put same set of gain, okay, and after that you try to see the result. So most of means just please try to see the papers. I have seen that most of time what they are doing, they are taking different set of gain and after that they are comparing. I think that is not proper. Let us try to understand things in another way. What happens that people are telling that, oh, okay, I have some system, I have input data and I have output data. So now using PID controller, using sliding mode controller, using any robust control, what basically we are doing? We are trying to generate some kind of real number. And now I know that for this particular output x, y equal to 5, I have to give real number 2. Okay. So by different methodology, people trying to generate 2. So our accuracy of result is basically based how closely I can generate 2. So using PID control, I can also generate 2. Using another control strategy, also I can generate 2, which will get 5. So actually, what happens? Robust control is telling that even if I have not much information, but suppose I do not know that 2 will create kind of thing. But if I am very in vicinity of 2, means I have certain kind of fall across, then I can generate the 5. So it means that without going 2, I can generate 5. So now due to that reason, people are telling
some issues in network, sir. Yes, but there is some issues in network.
Hello. So most of time comparison is not fair. So due to that reason, means if you see the nonlinear control workshop CDC, so most of time means in CDC people are telling that comparison of 2 controller is just a nonsense thing, because I have attended several IEEE meeting. So they are telling that means whenever they are means in IEEE CDC paper, you might have seen that people have never compared the result, most of the paper. because they are telling that two different control strategy. So how one can compare two different kind of things? But means based on your system, you try to see that which control strategy will satisfy the some kind of actuator gain condition, which will generate the proper result, and based on that you can select the control action. So again, things is not well matured, and people try to understand the different control design techniques and what is effect of that control techniques on the system. So I think that means I'm not so mature enough to comment on that part. Any other question?
Sir, there are few more questions. One question from Divya Pandey. She wants your suggestion on modeling of fractional order system, a book on modeling of fractional order system.
So, okay, I will send actually one book by Podlumni. So in Podlumni book, they have talked about sort of modeling. So, and I think that it is very well written for particularly for engineering. So she can go that by Podlumni.
Sir, now I can take the last question.
Okay.
What are the limitation of fractional order controller? It has been asked by Kamaraju, which Lapu.
So actually, I have already told you that means actually, whenever we are implementing the fractional order derivative or integral, at that time somehow I have to integration of some time varying quantity, and if I have some kind of time varying quantity, then means whatever algorithm, numerical algorithm, because most of time nowadays our system is controlled by computer. So still there do not exist well matured algorithm to integrate that kind of process where time is explicitly comes into picture, and due to that reason still means mathematically I can define the control system using fractional order, but whenever we are going for the implementation, at that time I have to do approximation, because we are assuming that I know the integral from minus infinity to t, but lot of data from minus infinity to t0 I do not know. So that is actually problem of memory. What is means difference between integer order and fractional order? Integer order, suppose you have integer order means differential equation. So they are suggesting that if you know the differential equation, if you know the initial condition, then uniquely I can predict the xt. But that kind of result is no longer valid in case of fractional order. Even if you know the x0, every time you have to update your initial condition x0. And that reason means whenever you are doing the programming, then programming become very, very complicated. And again, you have to do several approximations.